name's Anita and I live in South Wales in the UK, and you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Anita Bowl, and show notes for this episode can be found in the description box below. I hope you've had a nice few weeks. I've been quite busy over the last few weekends. We've been away twice, once visiting family and once with family, and Jodie's had a baby shower. No sign of grandson number 2 yet, but we're hoping in the next week or so I'll have some news on that. I tried recording this episode last week and I recorded it on my camera and it doesn't have a flip out screen, so I don't know how well it records until I play back the footage, and I was blurred. I think it was because the day was grey, so I'm having to record this again today, but I'm using the show notes from last week, so some objects that were works in progress last week are now finished objects. So let's start with those. They are both knitting projects. The first one is my Sno Votter Mittens, and I made them using Wild Earth yarns, the yarns that Josh brought back from New Zealand when he was away travelling. And you do a little bit of a snowflake design just above the rib cuff, and then they're just straightforward mittens. I don't really like the way that the tops are finished off, and you do the same with the thumbs, but I haven't blocked them or anything yet. But they fit really nicely, so they're a nice fit, and I've used DPNs, and you can see a little bit of a line, but like I say, I haven't blocked them yet. When I first started watching podcasts, everyone seemed to be making socks with DPNs, and I'd not used them before, so I got some DPNs and had to go at socks, and the laddering was pretty bad. And then I discovered Magic Loop and moved on to that. But as I have a couple of sets of DPNs, I thought I'd give it a go again. Now I've been doing Magic Loop and things for a little while, and I don't know if it's the yarn that's helped, but anyway, I haven't got ladders in these, so I'm going to block them, and hopefully that will bring this snowflake design out a little bit. It doesn't look too bad there. There is quite a contrast between the two yarns. Well, I thought there was enough of a contrast, but and I did do some, well, I call them postman mittens, that was a pattern from Tithen Bryn, and Jodie had those, and the contrast seemed better because it was just blocks of colour. So maybe when you do colour work, you really need a more can't get my words out, a lot more of a contrast. So we'll see. Anyway, so I've got to block those, and I shall be wearing those because it has got much colder in the UK at the moment. And my second finish object, I hadn't even started when I podcast last. Now I've been watching a couple of podcasters doing their Vlogtober videos, and one of the ladies is in a pickle knitting, and she knits and crochet. Well, she knits and crafts. I'm not sure if she crochets, but she also reviews children's books, and she recommended this book, Shall I Knit You a Hat? A Christmas yarn, and it's by Kate Clyes, and in it there's a mummy bunny and her little boy, and they decide to knit hats for all their little woodland friends for the winter, and it's teaching children about thinking of others and the pleasure in giving gifts. And at the back of the book there's a pattern for you to knit your own hat pattern, and it's meant to be this one, and I made it, and here it is. It's a bit hard to show on the camera. It's like a little hat. There's a little hat, and then you've got the two pom-poms on the top, a bit like a jester's hat. I don't know which way it's going to fall. This was the 0 to 3 month size, and I used, I haven't written down what I've used. It's I'll write it on the screen. I knit a jumper years ago out of it. It's Sirdar, I can't remember it. I'll write it down on the screen. It's lovely and soft, and it knits up in this Fair Isle pattern. The pattern in the back of the book tells you how to knit the hat in stripes, but I used that yarn because I knew it would make a pattern anyway. So that was the 0 to 3 months, and it goes up to 3-year-old. I was hoping to knit one for Harry, but I thought it goes up to 3-year-old. So I thought the book would be nice for Christmas, and then the hat can be for the new baby. And that was an easy knit, and I used my smallest little pom-pom maker to make the little pom-poms on the top. And works in progress. I'm still working on my Branches and Buds pullover, and I've been knitting and knitting away, and I've made quite a lot of progress. Let's make sure I'm showing you the front. So there we are, and it goes up and up and up and up, or down and down. So I've done that much, so I'm just going to keep going until I'm alternating the yarns, and I've got this much of the two that I'm doing the body. So I'm going to keep going until I run out of those, because then I have one complete skein left, which should be more than enough for the sleeves. Or maybe I'll knit down till I've used the 2 little balls, and then I will do the sleeves, and then if I've got any left I will make the body a bit longer, because it's a winter jumper and the longer the better. I'm really enjoying the pattern. I had a slight problem. Ooh, just found pins on the floor. So I better pick those up when I see them. When I was knitting, when I started the knitting, my cable snapped, and it's not they're not interchangeable, so it wasn't that it came undone, it actually snapped, which was a bit worrying because I was in the middle of doing the colour work, but I managed to pick the stitches up, and it was probably my fault because the cable was slightly too short, but I wanted to crack on. But anyway, I ordered another one, and that's fine. That one was the right length cable, so that's a lesson learnt by me. This week I've also ordered these 2 pairs of they're the Addy Sock Wonder 9-inch circulars, and I have had a go at 9-inch circulars making socks a while back, and I got terrible cramp in my hands. But these ones, let me take one out, have one of the needle tips is longer than the other, so I think I might be better with that, because I rest the needle in my thumb, between my thumb and my finger, so I'm hoping I'll be better with these. The one is for socks, but the other one is to do the sleeves of my Branches and Buds pullover rather than doing magic loop. I thought I'd have a go at knitting round and round with these sock wonders, the 9-inch circlers, because I thought it would go a bit quicker, because knitting a jumper in 4-ply takes a long time, and magic looping the sleeves I thought would take even longer. So that's my plan for that. I have started a crochet project. No, I have a finished object in crochet. Let me turn my page over. So we have a Wonkey Donkey to go in my nativity scene. He's going to bring Mary to the stable. So he is joining my Wonky sheep and Mary. So we now have a little collection, and Martin is building the stable, but he hasn't done it yet, but I'm hoping he will. I'm starting to worry that I'm not going to have enough time to knit and crochet all the little characters that need to be in my nativity scene. So I think what I'll do is I shall knit some shepherds first, because they were the ones in the stable to begin with, and Mary and Joseph don't get there till Christmas Eve, do they? So I'll do the shepherds first, then Joseph, then obviously baby Jesus, because he'll be arriving Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Oh, and then I've got to do the angel. So the angel is the angel before Jesus? Anyway, angel and Jesus, then the 3 wise men, because they come a little while later. That's my plan. So I can calm down a bit, because I don't have to do them all at the same time. So there's my Wonkey Donkey. And I've started a crochet project, which is the Granny Stripe Blanket by Attic 24. And I'm using all my 4-ply scraps. And I saw, when I was watching the Vlogtober episodes, I watched Katie of Inside Number 23, and she showed you how to make a magic ball with all your leftover yarns. So I made a magic ball, and I have started work on my Granny Stripe blanket. And I have now run out of yarn. But what I thought I would do is, every time now that I make anything with 4-ply, I have got some bits and pieces left, but I need to, I've got to make the baby some socks to go with the little jumper I made. So once I've done those, the leftovers can go in the blanket, and any others can go in the blanket as we go along. So I shouldn't have lots of random bits of, or random little balls of yarn about the place. So there's that. And sewing wise, I have been sewing this dress, the Jade Dress, which was a free pattern with Simply Sewing magazine, and it's a really nice pattern. It was really nice to, I always trace my patterns out. It's nice and clear, and the instructions are nice. It's step by step, and each step has a picture, so it works for me. I really like that. I think my sewing has got better in that I know what I'm doing a little bit more, or I know what's expected of me. And these instructions are nice as well, because they're nice and simple. So this is how far I've got so far. And it's a bit of a struggle, although the pattern is really, really well done. I'm finding it difficult to work with this fabric, because it is so flimsy. I've got a walking foot on my sewing machine, and there's little holes on either side, and the material keeps getting chewed up in there, and I have to keep stopping, lifting the foot, putting it back down. So it's quite difficult to work with, and I have got a pucker here, but I've tried it on and it's not too bad. So I'm just going to work with better fabrics in future. Acquisitions. I have an acquisition all for myself, and it's rather exciting, and I haven't opened it other than to take it out of the wrapper it came through the door in, and it's this. Has anyone else had one of these? It's from Chapelview Crafts, and it is the 12-day Christmas stitch markers set, where she was doing the Advent gifts. Now I haven't opened it because I'm waiting for the 1st of December and I'm going to open it then. And a couple of years ago I made this Advent calendar from a kit that I bought when I was at the NEC at the beginning of November. In the NEC in Birmingham there's a Christmas craft fair, and I've been for a couple of years. I didn't go this year, but I bought this kit a couple of years ago and made the tree. I've also bought some glitter that goes on to fabric, so I'm going to put some of that on it this year. But I made it for Harry, but the trouble is the pockets are really small. You could just see you can't really get a lot in there. So I'm going to put, there's 12 stitch markers in here. I'm going to put the 12 scattered amongst the 24 on my Advent, and I'm going to put chocolates and things in the other ones. So I said Martin and I can share. He can have the chocolates and I'm having the progress greens. I'm looking forward to starting that on the 1st of December. And on the 1st of December, we always have Christmas Hamper Day. And it's a tradition that I started a couple of years ago for Jodie. And when Jodie and Josh were growing up, they always had their Christmas stocking of Father Christmas. And the main presents, we always told them the main presents were obviously from us and from family. And the stocking was from Father Christmas. And Jodie said when she grew up that her favourite thing about Christmas when she was a child was her Christmas stocking, going to bed on Christmas Eve, taking her empty stocking up and leaving it at the end of the bed, and in the morning wiggling her toes to feel the weight of the Christmas stocking and the excitement of opening that. And above all the big presents that you may buy and the expensive presents, her favourite thing about Christmas was her Christmas stocking from Father Christmas. So when people get stressed and all feel they don't have enough money to buy their children the big gifts that they want, it's not the big gifts they remember, it's the little thoughtful things that you do. So anyway, now she's grown up and has a house and family of her own, she doesn't get a Christmas stocking. But as she liked having the stocking so much, it has been replaced by a Christmas hamper. So on the 1st of December every year, she comes over for a meal and we have a Christmas hamper. And she can open it then, so it's her and Matthew and Harry, and in the hamper are all Christmassy things that she or they can use through the month of December. So there's things like kitchen roll and toilet roll and soap and shower gel, all with a Christmas theme. And then there's usually some other little bits and pieces, little surprise items, and it might be a Christmas tea towel, and there's obviously things like pickled onions and cranberry sauce and chocolate treats, all sorts of different things that you could use through December. So all that's left is Walkies without Charlie. And as I say, we went to stay with family one weekend, and we stayed with my sister-in-law who lives near Rutland Water, and it's a very pretty village where she lives, so I just thought I'd insert a few little pictures there because I like to put some pictures at the end of the podcast. And hopefully next time I'll do a Walkies with Charlie. We'll take her somewhere even if it's somewhere we've been already, but now it's starting to look quite wintry and autumnal and all the leaves are changing colour. I think it would be nice to put a few photos in of my local area for you to see how pretty it is in the autumn. So all that's left to say is have a nice few weeks until I speak to you next, and I'll see you soon. Bye!